What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, guys. Welcome back to Omar BYT, ladies and gentlemen. And welcome, guys, to Omar and Hafed show, guys. Omar on BYT and the Barça Boy 103 show, ladies and gentlemen. We are back again with another episode, guys. I know you guys have been looking forward to it. You've been asking when are we doing when is Hafed coming back, guys. Listen. It's been a lot of we both of our schedules have been busy, man. He's got a lot of stuff he's been doing. I've had a lot of stuff I'm doing. But listen, you guys knew, man, we're going to do this every single month, once every month, man. But once again, man, my guy, Barça Boy, building. What's going on, bro?
I'm doing good, man. Doing good. Hopefully everyone is doing well. Of course, very, very happy with the recent performances of Barcelona. And may it long continue.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. It's beautiful. Right now, football is just beautiful, man. It's just great. You know what I mean, right? Like obviously, you've been on YouTube longer than me, but obviously I've been a Barca fan for a long time. So, I would say last 5 years, man, it's been stressful. You feel me, right? Like you just feeling like you don't really have the team good enough to really compete. You know what I mean? Like feeling like there's a few teams in Europe better. It's great, to be in this season, just feeling like you're one of the big boys in Europe and that you're feared. Like teams are actually looking at you and they're saying, "Oh man, this Barca team, man, we don't want to see these guys right now, man." It's been a while, right? But it's beautiful, man. Absolutely beautiful. 2025 has been amazing. I've been enjoying the football. I'm sure you have too, man.
Of course. I mean, we're the best team in the world for the first time in a long time. I think since October until now, we've been the best team. Last time we were the best team in the world was probably in the 18-19 season. That was only because Messi was carrying us. But yeah, feels good to be recognized as the best team in the world for the first time in almost 6-7 years. We've had some points maybe we could be in the conversation, but then Pep's Man City were too good at those times. So unanimously being the best team in the world is always a nice feeling to have.
No, for sure. And listen, this is where we need to be. At the end of the day, this is where we're known. Like this is what we're used to as Barca fans. You understand what I'm saying, right? We're not used to, top fours and Europa League, man. Like, bro, when I remember that first year we went down to the Europa League, bro, I swear to God, man. The first time I heard that Europa League song, bro, I nearly threw up. I was like, nah, man, I can't be in this competition. I would rather just be out of the Champions League competition.
To be honest, the first time I didn't really mind it too much because that was our level, and I would rather try and go and win the Europa League than get knocked down the round 16 of the Champions League. And our squad was abysmal at that point. Even though the Champions League group was, what was our group? It was Benfica, I think Dynamo,
Bayern Munich, and Dynamo Kiev.
Yeah, so you already think it's going to be difficult. Again, the only games we won were the two against Dynamo, and the rest we lost both to Bayern, then we drew one to Benfica and lost the other. But I didn't mind. The second season when we went there from after making all those economic levers, that was painful.
Bro, that group was tough, to be fair.
That group was even worse, yeah.
We
were a bit unlucky too in some scenarios, but that one really
it really stung because for me, I'll say this, right? As a that season, I genuinely think if we found a way to get out of the group, because if you remember, like Inter Milan's run when they finished second,
they had
to the final. Bro, that I swear, if we went through even below Bayern, bro, we would have had the easiest path to the final.
And we could have won it. Yeah, we peaked members like January, February that season before we faced United in the Europa League.
That's my point, and I genuinely think that if in a final against City, anything could have happened. We could have easily flooded our way to a Champions League trophy.
We would have lost that. Come on now.
Come on, bro. You watched them in that final. I watched them in that final. As good as they were to that run, when they went to the final, they were really.
After you cook Madrid 4-0, you're gonna win the final. Let's be honest. And to be fair, like against our record in the final is very good. 5 finals, 5 wins. So like to keep it that way. So I don't know. We don't know we're risking against a prime Pep Man City team, but yeah, that run they had. I think they had such.
They had Atletico Madrid, Real Madrid. Who did they play in the round of 16? I forgot, but I know they played Atletico. Do you remember the game against? Wait, which year did they play Atletico? The year that was the year that they played them and they beat them like 1-0 and they had like 71% possession. This guy had no shots.
Yeah, like on penalty or something. And then I know they faced AC Milan in the semifinal, but I forgot who they faced in the quarter.
No, Inter Milan played AC in the semifinals.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Real Madrid who played City in the semifinal.
Yeah, so they had. I
remember Inter Milan's run because Inter Milan played Porto, Benfica, and AC Milan. to the final. That's why I said we would have won. We would have reached the final because I think we would have beaten Porto. Would have definitely beaten Benfica around that time. No, they beat us.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. So they had Porto, then they had Benfica, then they had AC Milan. Like we would
have won. We would have won all those games. Like respectfully, around that time, the team that we had in 20, because I was here, we won the league, right?
Yeah,
the team we had in the year we won the league was actually very good, right, compared to the team we had the year before. But listen, at the end of the day, I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm just happy because as a Barca fan, as you know, after everything we've been through, right? This is the thing. People like to do this thing, and I know you've seen it too, Hafed, right? People always like to compare pain. I'm a Tottenham fan, or I'm an Arsenal fan. How are you as a Barca fan complaining when you've seen more trophies than me? It's like, bro, we're not the same. Just because I haven't seen my team suffer, what? Am I just supposed to just sit there and be grateful that I saw the past? No, that's not the kind of fan we are. As Barca fans, we are mentally trained to always expect our team to be competitive. That's why we always have the mindset of what should we do to be more competitive? What should we do to next season be one of the best teams in Europe? Not just be one of the big boys, but actually win the big trophies, right?
Yeah.
And this season, man, fair play to the manager, because that's the guy I'm going to give the most credit to, right? Because he took over this squad that we had last season because they couldn't do much, right? Didn't win any trophies last season. Added with one player added to the team and was still able to compete in our competition. We're going for our third treble, Hafed. Our third. We would be the first team.
Stop saying it, man. Stop saying it.
Hey, man, listen. First team to ever do 3 treble. You see how? No, because you know why? Because Madrid fans like to do the 3P thing, bro. If we do our third treble, bro, when these guys haven't won a treble once in their history, bro, they can't talk to us. Don't talk to me, bro.
But
3 trebles.
The reason why it's looking so good is like you talked about with Flick, how he took over the same squad and just added one big signing. Pep did that as well in his first season in the 2008-2009.
Right? Was it?
No. He signed his big summer signing was Dani Alves, who he spent 30 million on. He bought. Right. He had some. True. He made it like I think 2 or 3 squad signings like Hleb. I think he signed Seydou Keita, Pinto on a free, so stuff like that. But the only player they spent money on was Dani Alves for 35. I think they spent like 10 million on Hleb. That's it. And it's kind of the same premise as well. The season before that, we went trophyless. We were poor. Took over the same squad. Got rid of some big players. Promoted, the likes of Busquets and Pedro into the first team. The whole entire story arc is basically the exact same as Flick. So I think,
and you know what's crazy? You know what's crazy also, Hafed? Look at the jersey we're wearing, bro. Doesn't that?
I know it's the same.
Oh my God, yo! I'm not gonna lie. You know what? I don't like to overgas the team. I don't like doing that because I am a very
well, like you mentioned, like all the credit goes to Flick. And if we go trophyless, let's say we don't win the Copa del Rey, Champions League, or La Liga, I think a lot of Barca fans will still consider this a very successful season, and they'll still be very happy. So, like you go back to that argument from before about Tottenham, you don't win trophies. At Barcelona, I think, for most fans, it's style of play and dominance on the pitch ahead of winning trophies. Although the trophies is what you play for, is what you want. But, look at Xavi when he won the double. Everyone was happy. We know we won the league for the first time in a few years, but we played not anti-football. We played, very defensive football. We didn't have, so much attacking flow. We won like what? Out of the 38 games that season, we won like 12 of them 1-0. Everyone called the, Simeone 2.0 kind of league. We had, of course, some good games where we won 4-0, 5-0. And the football we played, I think, was still very good. Like the Super Cup final against Madrid, we absolutely clapped them for 90 minutes. But most of the time, it was kind of, 1-0, get a goal in the first half, and kind of see it out in the second half. But maybe that's what the team needed to, feel some success.
The feeling of competition, feeling like you're dominant.
Exactly. But like that double was not really celebrated too much by the Barca fans. Like, yeah, we won it, cool. But, this football.
I mean, that's the thing. That is true. I was just happy that we won the league. And you know what?
Me too.
Even though you're right, at the time, I didn't think that we were one of the best teams in Europe. Even then, I was just happy that, okay, cool, right? I didn't think we were going to win a league anytime soon because of how bad we were, right? But getting us a league title and it's Xavi, so I was very happy for him to be a former player winning the league as a manager, right? Yeah. So, and this is the thing. That's why with Xavi, I was always happy. I was like, listen, I was happy to see him go, not because at the end of the day, I didn't like him. I think that he did so much, right? Where I'm like, I didn't want to get to a point where fans were going to hate him because he would just be unjust for fans to hate a legend like that after what he did coming back to the club as a manager.
That's why Laporta is a goat, man. Remember, Laporta was the one who appointed Pep against the odds. Remember, everyone wanted Jose Mourinho at the time. He appointed Pep. Everyone this time wanted De Zerbi, someone else. He appointed Flick. So, again, both stories.
I'm not going to lie. With the way Laporta did Xavi, I didn't like it because Xavi was...
Oh, the way he treated him was disgusting, for sure.
That is what I had a problem. I didn't have a problem with him bringing... No, don't trust me, bro.
Same.
I was over the moon when we brought in Hansi Flick because I knew Because you know what it is.
He was the best. I wasn't. I would.
Remember this, Hafed. When we hired him, there were people that were very skeptical because of what he did in Germany.
I was one of those people. I wouldn't say. I wouldn't say I was disappointed. I think he was definitely like one of the best options out there. I was more happy that we didn't go for Rafa Marquez because at the time everyone was saying Rafa Marquez. So I'm like, as long as it's not Rafa Marquez, I was a W. And I preferred Flick over De Zerbi as well. That was talked about a lot. Emmanuel Alguacil of Sociedad was talked about a lot. So I think Flick was kind of like top 2, top 3 options. But I was also like, okay, he did very well for Bayern Munich, but that was during COVID. With Germany, he absolutely flopped. Around 16, the Euros got knocked out in the group stage of the World Cup. I like the football. The football's good, but his recent track record isn't that great. But now he's had 2 years off. Every manager after sabbatical always comes back, super, super strong. So we'll see. So in the end, I wasn't against it, but I was definitely saying like, oh, it's a risk, but it's a risk that's gone super, super well. Just like Pep was in 09.
For me, it's because I've seen it so many times where I've seen good club managers not do well as good international managers.
Yes,
and
that's
good international managers not do well in club. Like look at I use Sampaoli for example, right? Sampaoli is a good. I mean, he was good at Chile, I guess, and Sevilla, but when he went to Argentina, absolutely flopped. You understand what I'm saying, right? I feel like you look at someone like Southgate. But as an international manager, I think that suits him well. You understand what I'm saying, right? For international competitions, right? Some people are cut out for that. Capello was not a good international manager. He was a good club manager. You understand what I'm saying? His resume spoke for itself. For me, that's what I kind of looked at. I said, listen, at the end of the day, it's not for me, it's not a huge risk because at the end of the day, it's not a bad appointment. It's a guy who just won a treble. And let's be real, right? He was 2 seasons at Bayern, did well for them, right? Won them the treble and a double, right? In 2 seasons left, right? So it's like at the end of the day, let's just give him an opportunity, right? He's coming into a team right now, that is on the floor right now. Our expectations are very low, right? We're not, at the end of the day, unless we get relegated, you can't do any worse. You understand what I'm saying, right? Let's just stabilize the ship, and we'll see what happens.
And I think he was super happy with the team as well. He said that this team is definitely strong enough to compete, and
he picked it. And do you remember he picked because he has the options. He had options to go to other clubs.
Yeah, and he was the reason. He was the reason why Laporta picked him, and the reason why Xavi got sacked is Xavi said the reason why Xavi got sacked because Xavi said that we need to improve. Exactly. Xavi said at the press conference the reason why he got sacked. He said at the press conference we need to improve this team to compete, and we have no money. And Flick said no, this team is perfect. Let's just sign maybe Danny Olmo. And this team can definitely compete, and that's what João Laporta felt like. He said, "I think that this team, we of course bent over backwards to do these economic levers. We spent and had to do so much work with Mateo Aleman and all this stuff, getting rid of Griezmann. We think that this team is good enough." When Xavi's like, "It's good, but like it needs a couple more to push it over the edge." And Flick's like, and in his interview, this team is fantastic. This team can definitely compete. I see Casado being promoted. I think Gerard Martin's a good talent. Maybe the 10 position you want to have some coverage and competition there from in. Bring me like a Danny Olmo who could of course play out wide as well. And we're cooking. And again, this is the same thing that happened with Pep back in 08-09. This team is good enough, just has too many big heads. That's why he got rid of Deco, now sport director. Dino as well, promoted Busquets and Pedro, and of course made those few summer signings. It's the same philosophy. That's what João Laporta felt like. So again, you can say, someone in the chat said that Xavi's talent IQ needs to be identified. That's 100% true. Bringing in Jules Koundé, convincing him. Xavi's pull was huge. It
was actually huge. We need to put some respect on that because I feel like
Martinez, who of course is cooking. Xavi brought him in. Koundé as well. Rafa, Lewa,
Rafinha. There you go.
The Joaos were both Laporta signings. Romeu was kind of our 6th choice DM. Gundogan with the Xavi signing. He stayed for the whole season on the Xavi, then dipped because we didn't really see him as a viable option at the time. But he was our player of the season last season. So in terms of Xavi's recognition of player talent and who's good at the Barcelona, he definitely got all those right. But I think in the end, that second season, the players were burnt out, and I think a lot of last season. Whether you think Xavi deserves to be second, I personally don't think so. Of course, now we're looking at it, it's the right call, so I'll hold my hands up. But I felt like the players were really at fault last season. I think they took a step down. I think they were fatigued and tired for the last 2 seasons, especially with the World Cup being in the middle as well, bringing the success. We started off the season well, but once that one competition came in the Super Cup, everything kind of rolled forward. So I think also the players this season, alongside Flick's tactical insight and his changes, I think also the players this season took that step up. We were shit last season. We got to perform well. And look at the likes of Pedri, Rafa, Balde now being fit. Last season he was barely fit, and also he was so poor that we had to bring Koundé back.
And look at De Jong as well. Like, let's not forget the
Frankie,
the young's resurgence back to this team.
Frankie missed the second half of the season. But that big one for me is Jules Koundé. Remember, Jules Koundé would started at center back at the start of last season and was absolutely cooking. But Balde was so bad at left back. Xavi put Cancelo at left back, bench Balde, and moved Koundé back to right back, which of course made us look a bit more defensively. And that's why Cancelo got cooked in those 2 PSG games. Again, Balde was injured in the end, but if Balde was playing at his level right now and Cancelo was at right back and you had Koundé and Araujo as your center back, of course, maybe you wouldn't have seen Kubarsi come this early. So everything has their kind of, their pros and cons. But I think a lot of things did go very wrong for Xavi last season. I think a lot of that came down to players, individual mistakes as well. Look at like the poor performance we had, a 4-1 against Madrid, 5-3 against Villarreal. All the goals we conceded were individual mistakes. Araujo missing a clearance, bad pass back. It was never the team,
we're shooting ourselves in the foot. Always.
Exactly.
That's what always. And that's why the victory yesterday gave me a lot of confidence, because I tell myself, I'm like, listen, against Dortmund, as much as I think we're so much better than Dortmund, and I'm confident we're going to go through this tie before a ball was kicked, I always knew there was always a chance that these guys could shoot themselves in the foot, because we've been doing it now quite a amount of times in Europe. For some reason, Europe, we always screw ourselves over. It's not that we're bad. It's usually because, we have the opportunity. It's there for us to win it. And then something always has to go wrong somewhere, whether it's defensively, we're not, up there, a mistake by one of the defenders, a mistake up front, the strikers not pulling their weight up front. It's always something. You understand what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, yesterday's victory was incredible, man. Like I said, I wanted a 3-0, a comfortable victory where I could go to the second leg thinking, cool, right? These players are fatigued. They're going to be tired, right? After all the fixture patterns coming up, we could do a little bit of a mini rotation. And even if we lose, I don't see them coming back. But winning by 4 goals for me, told me, like, that's where I'm like, cool. I'm actually confident. I believe in this team that they will win the semifinals, right? This team showed me something different, right? I'm not scared of the second leg, right? Because I know these guys have what it takes to go to the Signal Iduna Park, get a result, then go to the semifinals.
I think them already playing it this season is a big bonus as well. They've been there already. They've won this season. They know the atmosphere. It won't be something new to them. I think that was huge. That's why I really want to be on that side. For me, the deciding factor for us being in the semifinals was Lamine Yamal scoring that last chance. Of course, Dembele during Anfield, breakaway, he missed it to kill the tie. I said it in the stream as well when I was watching it. I said, Lamine, he was through on goal, like Dembele 2.0, this time finish it. And he finished it. So that for me was where I think a 3-0, of course, you're comfortable. I predicted a 3-0 as well. So that would have been a great result. But then you go in the second leg saying, all right, you still have to lock in. But now a 4-0, it is going to be pretty comfortable. I still think we're going to go with our best team, maybe 1 or 2 at the absolute most.
We do have a game in the weekend, obviously. I think we're going to rotate. For sure, we're going to rotate. I hope, and this is what I'm hoping for. I think guys like Yamal, we could see Yamal finally get like a full rest in a game.
I think Flick's going to play Pedri and Yamal for the rest of the season.
Bro, but we have to be careful, basketball. We're going to get into all of that.
I disagree. I disagree with it, obviously. But this is what I think. I think, of course, we saw Pedri's getting subbed off. If you noticed, Pedri's getting subbed off a lot more now.
Well, he's getting subbed off late, to be fair, because I've been noticing that.
He went from playing 90 minutes, and now getting subbed off. So getting subbed off is better.
87 minutes. Like, that's the thing. 87 minutes. Like, I'll be more okay if you take him off. Like, this is the thing. I don't mind Yamal and Pedri playing 90 minutes. That's the thing. I don't have an issue with it, right? Where I have an issue is, like yesterday's game, we were 4-0 up, right? We have a game in the weekend, which is integral, because we're in the title race. 4 points. I know we have a 4-point gap now, but anything happen. All we have to do is just lose one game and then win, and they're back they're back on our necks again. You understand what I'm saying, right? Yeah. So we need these guys to always be fit to play. So for me, I'm like, okay, we're 4-0 up in the game against Dortmund. You saw him take off Pedri when we were 4-0 up. I was happy with that. I was like, all right, cool. 78 minutes, 75th minute, all right, cool. Pedri off, good. Right? I like what you're doing there, right? Yamal had to ask to be taken off. And that's where I was like, for me, in a game
like this... We know why he asked that, though, right?
I know, but that is why I want. That's why I was like, Flick, you don't have to wait for Yamal to do that. Come on.
Second time this season. Remember, Gavi did it for Pablo Torre back in the Valencia game. And
that is the point. Like, I get it. Because you know what? Because, listen, I was happy to see him yesterday, man. I'm not going to lie. Like, a part of me felt so happy.
That was the icing on the cake, man. I didn't think Ansu would play again this season since, like, January.
Dude, when I saw it, did you see the stadium? They cheered,
I know. Right? I think they probably cheered as loud as they did for the goals.
Yes. Because you know why? Because at the end of the day, Ansu is different. Ansu is one of us. He's a La Masia graduate who had so much potential, but injuries ruined them. And I think a lot of Barca fans low-key still believe in him, and they still think that there's still a player in there. You understand what I'm saying? It's just that, injuries has just ruined this kid. And let's don't get it twisted. If he ever becomes the player that we thought he could become, bro, I would be so happy for him. Because I still believe there's a player in there. He's still a young man. But Hafed, let me ask you, look at this. There's a lot of comments here asking us some questions, right? But basically, this is the one that this guy is asking, saying, are you worried about Lamine Yamal getting the 10, Lamine being the highest paid player before getting legally to drink, or basically the friends that he's surrounded with? I've seen people talking about this, Mo.
The money, yes. The money, yes. The shirt number, no. Because at the end of the day, number 10, it goes to whoever the brightest talent and one of the best players in the team is. I think the only way Lamine does not get number 10 this summer is if we do end up signing Neymar, which I don't think we will. But again, that's like a 1 to 5% chance. But if that happens, I think that's when Neymar will probably get the number 10. But they were going to give it to him last season anyways. The club were ready to strip Ansu of it and give it to Lamine, but Lamine said no. And I think that's massive problem.
I think, he was respectful. He didn't want to.
Exactly.
He felt.
I think the money thing. I mean, I think he definitely. I think the issue is that. It's like Ansu back in the day. Ansu deserved that fat renewal. We were desperate for him. He was our best player. Deserved it. I could say you cannot. It's so hard to argue saying that Lamine does not deserve the money. He does, but at the end of the day, when you're at 17, you're at the day, you will make your money at Barcelona in the future. You have so much time left. I think a suitable wage for him. He probably should be making what Ansu makes right now. I think Ansu's on 175,000 euros a week. You want to give maybe Lamine 200 with bonuses as well. Oh, if you get GA, we win trophies, you get more money. That's no problem for me. But I think I think the highest base salary right now at Barca is Araujo on 300,000 a week with his renewal in January. He should not be making more than that for sure. And he should not be anywhere in that category. I think Frankie, Araujo, Lua should be earning more. I think probably Rafa deserves more money because again, Rafa's like in his prime. He's 28, 29. Does have 10 years like Lamine as well.
I'm not gonna lie to you, Hafed. I don't want to be negative, but I genuinely feel like with Rafinha, I want to see how he does next season, bro, before I can.
No, you gotta give him his bag. If you have a Ballon d'Or level, if you're gonna win the Ballon d'Or, you have a Ballon d'Or level, so you give him.
Bro, have you seen? Because you know what I know. Because you know what I'm saying. Have you seen Vinny this season?
But he's like with Rafa, in his first 2 seasons, I don't think he was that bad. My only issue.
Moments.
No. But people were calling for his head. Last season, season before the PSG game where he kind of turned it up. But for me, Rafa, since he joined Barcelona until now, the only issue I had with him was with his effectiveness and his mindset in the final third, where he'd miss chances, wrong pass, shoot when he should pass when he should shoot. All those decision-making, he was dreadful. But build-up play, movement, dribbling, he was fantastic. For the moment we signed him until now. And look at it, he got 20 GA in his first season. He got, I think, 23 GA last season as well, with a lot of that coming in the second half of the season. He's been playing well. He's been, a solid 7 out of 10 the first 2 seasons. Now he's like, pushing 9. The jump has been huge, of course. But I still think over his Barcelona career, he's done a fairly adequate job with this, and of course, boosting it and highlighting it a lot more. And again, when you're reaching 50 GA, I mean, you're entering your prime. I mean, fucking yeah, you gotta give him the bag. It's hard to say no, and especially when you have a player like him who can play multiple positions. He cares for the badge. You can see him all the time. When he was, at his worst moments at Barcelona, when he was at his highest, back in Barcelona, this is my dream. I want to succeed here. But maybe sometimes he came in an interview saying that I thought about leaving last summer. That Flick told me to stay, and that was more than enough for me to stay.
And you can see it, man. Like ever since he was given the armband, I feel like we've seen a difference in Rafinha. Like you see, he's more vocal, and I like that about him. Like he's vocal. Like even in the you remember you saw the game against Batiste. Like he was trying to fight people in the stadium. Like you had to see Ter Stegen literally had to pull him out. You've seen the footage of like him.
Yeah, I think the referee said
people thought he was going at Ter Stegen. I was like, yo, you guys not seen the referee behind Ter Stegen? That's the guy. He was pointing at Rafinha, and Rafinha basically wanted to confront him, and Ter Stegen was holding him back. And people,
I don't know what the referee said. The referee definitely said something to him to get him.
I don't know, man. Like, yeah, the players were not happy with the referee, but yeah, as far as this is concerned, yeah, the goal was actually given to Rafinha. And listen, I mean, at the end of the day, if he doesn't have any issues, I'm sure Kubashi, at the end, I think that way.
Yeah, people talk about like greed as well. I think I think when people say that Rafinha stole the goal, I think that shows that you have very low football IQ.
I think also in that position, I'll be honest, right? When I was watching the game, I did say it because I was like, yo, come on, man, let the guys go his first goal in Europe. But I remember, so I was like, listen, sometimes when you're on the pitch and you're in that position, you don't know where the ball is going. You think if the ball is coming towards you, you don't know if that ball is going out of play or not.
You don't know
He
if someone's
decided to
behind
take a
you
touch
coming to
just to
clear
make
it.
sure he was going the right way. So sometimes, listen, I played football. I know what I'm saying, right? At the end of the day, when you're in a certain position, you don't know where the ball, when you see a ball coming towards you, you don't see if the ball is going to the net or not. You just think, all right, it's coming towards me. I'm going to take that last flick just to make sure it doesn't go out.
Exactly.
And I think that's what he did. And look, at the end of the day,
if Kubarsi was like on 1v1 with the keeper, rounds the keeper, he's poking it to open net, and Rafinha came and kicked it in. That's greedy. That's greedy. But in that scenario where it's kind of rolling into the back of the net, you don't know what's happening, you don't know what's going on around you. You striker instinct, poke it in extra to make sure it goes in. He did the right move in my book. Again, if he'd probably know this was going to happen, he probably would have left it for sure. I think Rafinha is the most ungreedy player in this team, despite him having 50 GA this season. But at the end of the day, I think
I don't agree with him being greedy. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
I haven't seen him be greedy. I've seen him, like at the end of the day, I just think that it's just a poacher's finish sometimes. Like at the end of the day, it's a poacher's finish. You're
just
in the box, there's a crowd.
So
Exactly.
the ball was rolling in slowly, right? Because I think Kuba got a bit of a hand on it. So you just gotta poke it in and make sure it goes in.
There you go. Sometimes, man, you wanna assure that the goal is in, and sometimes
if he was offside and that goal gets allowed, you'd be frustrated.
And that's the thing. That's why I had a problem with it at first. I was like, bro, please.
But again, Rafinha does not know if he's onside or offside or not, too, right? It goes both ways. If that goal gets offside, you're probably gonna be frustrated. Oh, Rafinha, why'd you touch it? Blah blah. But I would still say, at the end of the day, it's instinct, right? So it's kind of hard for him to judge it in that scenario. So thankfully everything went our way, but it's not great whatsoever.
Nah, for sure. But I mean, listen, at the end of the day, yesterday's game was beautiful. But I'm going to ask you this, Hafed, right? You've seen us this year so far, right? Obviously, we've done a few shows this year so far. Every time we've done this show this year, still yet to lose, right? What do you think has changed this year compared to last year? Because last year when we were talking, right, we were talking about the fact that when we were in games where we were like dominating, we would kill off teams, like completely destroy them. We could score like 3, 4, 5 goals in games, right? Dominant. But then when we're playing games where we were being pegged back and we were like 1-0 down, you could see like the players they took a while before they could really come back into the game. Sometimes they wouldn't even come back to the game at all, right? Mentally. And also when the players were like a 10-man down, or mentally, if something happened in the game that basically got into their heads, right? You could see sometimes the players didn't recover quickly. I've seen a few changes in the second half of the season. Mainly, I've seen games where we haven't played well. Like I remember the Benfica game where we were 10 men down. You think, okay, we've been 10 man down this season so far. I've seen us when we were 10 man down. These guys haven't mentally recovered. We were being peppered in that game. We lost our creative spark in Danny Olmo because of the red card, right? And we were getting peppered, but we still left that stadium with the win. Mentally, defensively, it was a rock. And that is one thing I will give the team. I think defensively, I've been more impressed with how we've been defending in the second half of the season, incredibly. But for me, I think that there's a strong change in mentality in the second half of the season that's made me believe that this team can go all the way. Now, I just want to ask you, what do you think has changed in 2025's Barcelona?
Winning the Super Cup. That is the exact reason. And the reason why is because Flick said it last night. I talked about it in my match analysis video today. Flick said that losing that last game of the year on my birthday against Atletico Madrid, where we battered them for 90 minutes.
I had to watch us beat Bayern Munich on my birthday. Sorry, bro.
So it came out for the better. I'll take the hit for major success. But you go to after going to that game, Christmas break, you played well, you still lose. Everyone was saying to the build up. The reason why I think the Super Cup now holds a lot more value than it used to do is because now it's in the middle of the season and you're 9 out of 10 times going to play a Clasico final. Winning a final in a cup against Madrid gives you utmost confidence, gives you utmost mental tranquility, and it also shows you in your ability that you can see the results on the pitch. Winning the Super Cup was huge. That was the reason why we're on a tear right now. And if you look at the past few years of the teams that won the Super Cup and see what they've done, when we won the Super Cup for the first time, we won the league. When Madrid won the Super Cup both times, they went and won the Champions League. Now we've won the Super Cup. We'll see how things turn out. But Super Cup mid-season have now brings the Super Cup in a more value. It gives it a more value as well, and it gives the team so much, confidence and momentum going forward. That for me was a game changer. I think if you lose that Super Cup, God knows what would happen nowadays. I think the team, of course, were already performing very well. We had that big dip in form, but not winning that Super Cup, I think, wouldn't have derailed the season, but I think it wouldn't be going as perfect and as well as it is right now. So having that taste as well as a celebration of winning a trophy against Madrid, there's going to be another opportunity for that in 2 weeks' time as well. That gives you, like, if you can see, if you go look at our football celebrations and see what we were reacting to during that Super Cup, says enough because we didn't celebrate it for days. We celebrated the night of. Went back. We had bets in the cup.
Back to
we
business.
Lock in.
Yep.
Back to business. That's why you win that game 5-1, and everything goes forward. So that Super Cup win for me was the deciding factor, and that's why it was so nerve-wracking. It's such an important game in a lot of people's eyes because we knew that I think we were losing points in La Liga at that point because Madrid beat Valencia. They went ahead of us by 2 points or 3 points. They had that game in hand because of the Club World Cup or whatever. So we even lost ground in the league. That was going to be the kickstart for us in the end. Mm-hmm. We cheated. And that was supposed to be for us last season as well. Remember, last season we beat Osasuna in the semi-final. We wanted to win the Super Cup to give us, confidence momentum going forward. We had the Copa del Rey against.
We got battered. Yeah, I remember.
And then we lost to the club in the Copa del Rey, and then everything just went
yeah, south. Exactly. I think we lost to Real Madrid in Venice hat trick in the Super Cup, and then we lost to Athletic Bilbao. But yeah, I mean, big up to Football Carnage, man. He's a Madrid fan, by the way. This guy over here.
Yeah, I know this guy, man. This guy's an absolute waste man.
yeah. Listen, man. Listen. At the end of the day, I had him yesterday, and I was talking to him. He might say whatever he wants, but he's trust right now, man. Considering what happened to his team today, 2 days ago, and also Super Cup.
The guy has a super team and his team is stroking out. I'd be stressed out too.
Bro, let me tell you something, man. Look, at the end of the day, man, watching that Madrid game, bro. Hey, listen, man, it was.
Could not believe my eyes.
Dude, it was beautiful, man. When I saw them
I still think Madrid gonna come back.
I was aligning, bro. Listen, last time Real Madrid lost to Arsenal, we went on to beat them in the final of the Champions League, man. Hey, listen,
I still think Madrid gonna come back in the second leg.
Bro, oh my God!
I don't trust Arsenal whatsoever.
Listen, I've said it. This is why I said the tie is not over. I'm just happy that they got battered. Every time Madrid lose, I'm just there to just troll. You know what I'm saying? Because I know. I
think PSG in the semifinal would knock them out. That'd be a great semifinal, good storyline too. But we'll see Arsenal again. Arsenal, their biggest strength is their defense, so we'll see how they end up performing. But I just think that Madrid get a goal early on, like first 10 minutes. I think Arsenal capitulate because they're known for capitulating.
Bro, if they concede in the first 5 minutes, I think the game is over. I think
me too.
Mentally, because
if they survive till halftime, I think Arsenal will definitely go through. Halftime, they don't concede. I think Arsenal. I think
if they're 1-0, let's say they concede a goal maybe late in the first half.
No, even so, I still say Madrid because again, Madrid will get those. Madrid at some point will get 2 goals in like 2 or 5 minutes, like quick back to back. Because again, like we talked about the Super Cup being momentum for us, for them, it's always about goals. They get a goal, stadium gets up, they expect more, they move quickly. Look at all the comebacks they've already had this season against, your Leganes, your Sociedads, and blah, blah, blah. Because once they get those, 2 goals in a minute, that's when they come back super quickly.
No, for sure. I mean, bro, I'm not gonna lie. Listen, I don't really care what happens in the second leg, to be perfectly honest. At the end of the day, if they come back, good for them. You know what I'm saying? If they lose, I'll throw the Madrid fans like I always do. But at the end of the day,
the only team that can beat Madrid is Barcelona. So
that's the thing, man. And listen, that's why I'm telling you right now, when I'm looking at their team right now and I'm looking at our team, people can say, oh, final, anything can happen. I'm sorry, man. I get it. Anything can happen in the final, right? If we do play them in the final, right? Obviously, right? They have the team to beat us. We have the team to beat them. It's gonna be stressful. Don't get it twisted, Hafed. I'm just like you. I am not ready to watch that game because I'm not mentally ready to see us lose to Real Madrid in the final, bro.
I low-key would rather get knocked out in the semi-final than have a Clásico semi-final. I'm not even kidding. Give me the Spanish treble, La Liga, Copa, and lose the semi-final. I'll walk away happy. Honestly, man.
You want us to talk about Madrid? We can talk about Madrid, bro. Listen, I would love to talk about Madrid, right? Let's talk about Madrid since the international break, Barca boy. Let's talk about Madrid. Let's talk about the fact that these guys conceded 4 against Real Sociedad, bro, at home. right?
Bro, they're just a team full of superstars and they're ass, and they've done it so many times in their history.
Yeah,
This core team will maybe win the La Liga next season, and that's it. Just like the Galacticos in 06, the Galacticos in
bro.
2000 as well.
I said it to this brother in the start of the season. I said, "Yo, you are looking at this team talking about super teams and all
I
this."
said I tweeted at the start of the
stuff.
season that Mbappe wouldn't get more than 20 goals. He got more than
Bro,
20 goals now, but
yeah, he did. He did
my
well for
point is that
himself.
they would bottle it.
Listen, he did well for himself. Good for him. But I'm telling you this now. Here's the thing, Hafed. Because we've been watching football for so long and we've seen Madrid do this before. I said it to him. I'm like, Will, you think I'm not afraid of this team as much as you think I should be. You understand what I'm saying? Because
I'm way more afraid of their team last season than this season.
that is my point. Because that team had more. The link up was better. The chemistry was better.
Even though they barely beat us last season.
I've said this about Madrid, right? Madrid, when they buy superstars in the right positions, not for the sake of they're superstars, right? But buy players that they need, players that they actually need in positions, that's when they're scared. Because you're looking at their team thinking, I don't see any weaknesses here. But the thing with this Madrid is when they start going after names, this guy, that guy, they did that in the early 2000s. That was what Florentino Perez was doing. He wanted to build the Galacticos. He didn't care about which position, how many players he was buying in the same position. He brought in R9, Zidane, Beckham, Figo from Barca, but all these superstars, right? Bro, they won one Champions League and one league title, bro. A team that was supposed to dominate everything won one. What we became in the early 2010s is what they wanted to be. That's what the idea of what the Galacticos were supposed to be. What we were in the Pep Guardiola era. That's what they wanted to be, and they couldn't be that. And the reason why is because when it came down to it, we were not just trying to buy superstars. We had a superstar team, and we just went out and actually bought the areas that just needed holes, right? Or maybe buy bench players who would basically come in the games where this is why you mentioned it. Our first season, we brought Dani Alves, we brought in Seydou Keita, Alexander Heller. Bro, those were not superstar signings. Apart from Alves, because Alves was a good player at Sevilla, right? And we needed a right back. At the time, we actually needed a new right back. So it made sense why we went out and actually bought Dani Alves, right? But Halep was never going to start in our midfield. Our midfield was too good, right? Seydou Keita, he understood. He was a bench player, but he was a very good bench player, versatile player, right? All of these things are the reasons why we won the treble last season. And honestly, when I look at the season, I'm not really sure about how good this team would be this season, but I've been very impressed. I've been very, very impressed with how well we've played in this season so far. And fair play to Hansi Flick and fair play to the players. Because at the end of the day, they proved me wrong. And I've always been someone to always hold my hands up when I get things wrong. I didn't think these guys had it in them. Especially when we were in a good run in the start of the season. But listen,
at the end of the day, at the start of the season, they had a 90% chance of winning La Liga, and now it's 90% chance that Barcelona win it. So that's the story summed up pretty much.
Yeah. Well, listen, man, we're enjoying this. Make sure you guys smash the likes and make sure you guys go subscribe to Barca Boy 103, guys. His channel is linked, it's in the description, guys. Make sure you guys go subscribe to him. This is a show we do it every single month, man. But listen, let's get into it, man. Listen, at the end of the day, it's beautiful. There's a lot of great things happening on the pitch, but let's talk about stuff off the pitch because we have a lot we need to get into, man. Listen, obviously, earlier in the year when we did the show, right? You remember at the time we were dealing with the Omar Victor on registration, and we thought that we dealt with the issues. Everything was good, right? You were talking about the 101 rule that we had basically, because we saw our VIP seats, we were good in the 101 rule, and basically our salary cap was increased, right? Which was the reason why we were able to register Olmo, Paul Victor, give contracts to Gavi and Pedri and everything else, right? Everything looked approved. And even after La Liga approved all of this, we saw Tebas, despite the fact that the Spanish courts and La Liga approved this, by the way, he still was trying to be stubborn and was trying his hardest to screw this thing up for us, right? Recently, the news came out about a week ago. I talked about it on my channel, right, where I did talk about the fact that recently, because there was the documents that was basically sent to La Liga recently, the VIP seats wasn't added into it, apparently, right? This is what we heard, right? And because of that, our salary cap was lowered again, which means that Dani Olmo and Paul Victor are on the risk of getting unregistered again. It wasn't confirmed that they were unregistered. We thought, okay, La Liga, Tebas finally won. He finally got what he wanted because we know he was the one that was literally spearheading this whole thing. CSD recently came out right after this whole situation. The CSD came out and they said, okay, if La Liga said this, if this is the case, all right, cool. However, when it comes to Dani Olmo and Paul Victor's registrations, they will stick around until the end of the season. Now, this was a problem for Javier Tebas because Javier Tebas was like, no. We want these guys unregistered right now. You understand what I'm saying, right? And the desperation that you're seeing with La Liga right now is actually pathetic. And it's crazy because now it's gone to a point that CSD themselves have actually had to come out and call out La Liga for their absolute hypocrisy. Because they were the ones who approved this, and now they're the ones that are going back on their own word. And now they expect these guys to fix the problem that they put themselves in. So somebody is lying. I've said this before. I'm like, somebody is lying here. Because at the end of the day, I don't believe La Liga with all of this stuff, right? Because you can't have all this evidence because we send them 2 forms where we had the VIP seats on, right? 2 of them. And now they're saying the 3rd one it wasn't added. And it's crazy how they decided to bring this on the day of the Copa del Rey semi-finals against Atletico de Madrid, right? Just to bring the attention away from the game and on to Barcelona. But before I let you go, I'm just gonna say my piece on this because I've already said what I said, right? You see this, brother? Do you see this Javier Tebas? His obsession with our club is actually creepy. Because here's the thing: a lot of Barca fans, obviously, when we talk about it, people say, "Oh, you're just Barca fans. Of course, you're gonna defend this. Of course, you're gonna say, oh, La Liga is against you. This and this and this." This guy is a Madrid fan, right? Who, whether it is consciously or subconsciously, right, is screwing my club over. And mentally, he can't accept it. This man right now, he's gone. We are in a position now, right, where you've won. You basically now succeeded in basically lowering our salary cut. But that's not enough because that's not what this is about. This is about our key player in Dani Olmo, who is helping us and who is injured right now, but will be back probably by the time we play the Copa del Rey final against Real Madrid, right? You're trying your best now to make sure that you pull our best players out of this team. Because this doesn't just affect the Dani Olmo and Paul Victor our contracts. It also affects Pedro and Gavi's contracts as well, right? For me, I'm just like, this man, his obsession with Barcelona, and I say it before, because we are La Liga fans, we know how bad La Liga things are in La Liga right now outside of Barcelona. We know what's happening with Valencia right now. We know what's happening in Liga. That La Liga don't really put any reason. Javier Tebas has so much time to deal with Barcelona's problems and deal with Manchester City's problems, which is not even part of our league. Like, it doesn't make any sense. You're supposed to be protecting the league, but for some reason, you are only focused on us when you're looking at Valencia, who are now so broke, who are having a worse financial situation than Barcelona, right? They're so broke right now, they can't even finish their stadium anymore. They've stopped construction in their stadium because they don't have money anymore. Why is Tebas not putting effort to go and fix that issue? But you want to sit here and put all these your eggs in the Barcelona basket. Why? Because you are a Barca hater. You hate us so much. You can't. It's getting to a point now where people are beginning to notice it. Even outside of Barca fans are starting to see, they're like, bro, why is this guy so obsessed with Barca? Every time he's always talking about you guys, even when you guys are not in the news. But now is everybody seeing it. But there you go, man. You have your piece.
I mean, I pretty much agree with every single word that you said. I'll just add to what your point is. At the end of the day, Javier Tebas is a spoiled little bitch, essentially, where when he gets wrong and he gets humiliated, he doesn't like it, and he lets that affect him emotionally. And they Barcelona finessed the system. They found some loopholes. They got the job done, and La Liga just don't like that. And we talked about earlier about Barcelona winning, the league and stuff like this against a Madrid super team. Also to highlight the fact that we are fighting against the institution and corporation of La Liga in Spain, where everyone in the Spanish courts, in La Liga, in the Spanish Federation are all Madrid fans. Hopefully we get our time, the new generation that's coming through, are going to be Barca fans because they saw the success of Pep and, Enrique, and we get, Barca fans coming in so we can get some of the advantage on our side. But at the end of the day, we're fighting against everything. Look at even the VAR decisions in the league, how they get favoritisms from UEFA as well with those bans for Rudiger and Vinicius. Everything like this is always favors Madrid. So that's why when Barcelona wins Champions Leagues in La Liga, it's always that extra sweeter and always that extra more difficult. Not only you trying to fight on the pitch, you also have to fight off the pitch as well. This is why I think the appointment of Joan Laporta winning the presidency is so exceptional and why it was so integral, because he knows how to deal with these scenarios. Of course, rebuild this team, brought us back to competing and fighting for the highest and biggest trophies, and he's dealt with the situation to absolute perfection as well. End of the day, Barcelona will come out on top as we always do. They can start bitching and moaning and doing whatever they want. End of the day, he just looks embarrassing, and it's a very bad image of La Liga. They're fighting against their biggest team, the team that brings in the most money in the league, the team that gets the most viewership. Look at the views that every single game get this season. Barcelona beat Madrid by 250,000 easily every single time. Even when Madrid have a big game like the Madrid derby, we have, let's say, Leganes, we still match them or are beating them in viewership. So at the end of the day, this will always happen no matter what. For the rest of our time, we'll always see these kind of, Negera and CSD court cases. And at the end of the day, we can become now financial and legal experts because we have to figure out what the hell is going on every single time. But it's embarrassing how right Tebas, and it's he's just going to be holding fat L's from Laporta for the rest of his time.
It's an absolute disgrace. I mean, this is the thing. A lot of people don't realize, like, people like us, we actually do, whenever we see news like this, we actually do our own digging to actually find out what is actually going on. Because it's easy for people to just read the news and say, Barcelona this, they're doing illegal stuff, Barca this. Because, bro, that's what I have to go through all the time. Like, when I'm talking to other fans outside of Barca, the Niagara case, you guys have been caught paying referees and stuff like that. I'm like, bro, you guys didn't, this is how I know you guys don't even read the case, because if you read the case, you would know what it means. But at the end of the day, I don't blame you guys, because when you guys hate my club, you are not looking for logic. All you just want is to see a bad stain on my club and just use that to come at me, and that's fine. Do whatever you want. You understand what I'm saying, right? That's up to you. But at the end of the day, you mentioned it. I did a video on my channel talking about why is Tebas still talking about Manchester City? Like, what does that have to do with us? What does that have to do with La Liga? Right? He's done this before with PSG back in the day, in 2022, when they renewed Mbappe's contract, and he was so angry because Mbappe didn't go to Madrid, because he expected Madrid to sign Mbappe. He actually tried to take PSG to court. I'm like, bro, the nerve of this guy, This guy is like, I said it, I'm like, this guy's like Drake. I know you're Canadian, so this might try to strike a nerve. I hope you're not a Drake fan, brother.
No, I like Drake. It's okay though. You can.
Oh, shit.
I don't like him that much.
Okay, all right. I know you're Canadian, so I don't know if I'm striking enough. Canadian.
Nah, you're good. You're good.
Really Canadians love Drake, but my point is this, right? When it comes to, like, how basically with the Drake and Kendrick beef, how basically ever since he's lost, he's been trying to find new ways just to win.
Won the beef. Let's make that clear. Kendrick had the best song. Drake won the beef. Come on.
Hey, listen, whatever the case. Hey, listen, for all the people in the chat, Hafed is a Canadian. So if he's been biased to his Canadian brother, you guys know why. But point is this, right? Ever since that whole situation was over, we've seen a lot of these stuff with the courts happening where we're just like, bro, at the end of the day, this doesn't make any sense and all this stuff. You know what I mean, right? It's a rap beef. This is not the first time we've seen rap beefs. We've seen rap beefs where we feel like people have gone too far and all this, but usually we move on, right? I feel like with Tebas, what he's doing right now, you just mentioned it. We found a loophole. It's not like we did something illegal. This was in the La Liga rules. We followed the La Liga rules, and we found a way to deal with it. Because we knew that if we went to the high courts and appealed, right, to get Dani Olmo and Pau Victor registered, we could, if they approved it, we could register them. We knew we could do that. The rules state we could. You understand what I'm saying? And then, even after all of that, Tebas is like, no. I don't like the fact that you guys had this loophole. No. That's not our problem. We found a way to register the player. You're just angry because you promised everybody that, okay, he's not gonna sign. This guy, he's a liar, bro. I'm telling you, right? This guy, the amount of time he flip-flops is actually disgraceful. People don't see it all the time, but I always see this guy's quotes, and I always catch him whenever he's flip-flopping, right? Because do you remember when the Negra case came out, right? He first of all came out for 2 seasons came out and said there's no evidence to prove that Barcelona did anything wrong. That's what he said, right? He was saying that there was no evidence. After this whole thing with the registration came out, he started saying, "Oh yeah, we know that Barcelona were involved in this." Bro, I thought you were the guy that was for the last 2 seasons saying that we weren't involved. All of a sudden now you've changed your words. Why? Because you're angry with us. You're angry because we found a way to outsmart you. It's embarrassing, bro. It's truly embarrassing watching this grown-ass man, right, doing all this stuff. Like I said it before, this is why for me it's easy for me to go at this guy, because I'm just like, bro, La Liga is a mess right now. La Liga is a mess right now. Look at the league. You're seeing Real Madrid threatening to leave the league, referees doing all this BS, racism happening, clubs like Valencia about to get relegated and get basically financially liquidated if they're not helped very, very soon. And you're too worried about what Barca is doing. Bro, compared to teams like Valencia, we are fine. We are on our way back to where we need to be. We're slowly getting back to our best, right? But you're still obsessing over us. And I've said it before, at the end of the day, we know he doesn't like Laporta. He and Laporta, they don't like each other. There is no love there. And also, this guy seems to forget that Laporta is a lawyer. Like you think you know you think you know what's happening in the courts. You don't know, bro. This guy's a lawyer. He knows how the courts work. Why do you think all these appeals and all this stuff? He was sitting there telling everybody, "Don't worry, bro. We'll register these guys." Because he knew. He knew, bro. He knew how the court systems work. He knew what he had to do. And every time he does it, he just goes to the courts, and guess what, bro? The courts always rule in our favor. Every time. And that's what pisses this guy off. Because every time we take it to court, Laporta always wins. And we're going to continue win. Like, at the end of the day, it's a disgrace. But listen, at the end of the day, they can do whatever they want. We're in our competitions. And listen, if we somehow win the treble, we're gonna shove that treble up his throat, man. Absolute prick that he is, man. And listen, he can keep crying. He can keep crying, man. But it's absolute disgrace, man. It's an absolute disgrace. But big up to everybody in the chat, man. Big up to Ravi says, question for both. How do Barca stay consistent throughout the rest of the season and the UCL? What are you saying?
Just gotta grind it out now at this point. The team knows what they're fighting for. This is crunch time. You've been building up from August until now for these kind of moments. I think now it's gonna come down to really just motivation and grit. I think rotation from Flick and important games will be key as well. We'll see what he does against Leganes and Dortmund in the next week. But to stay consistent, it comes down to quality, believing in yourself, and just dogging it out, really.
Yep. And there you go. Spanish coach reject Tebas again. And he always they keep rejecting him, and he keeps coming back, bro, for some reason. Every single time. And he's going to keep doing it. That's why it's so sad to watch. Because I said it before, right? Think about this, Hafed, right? You watch football outside of Barcelona and outside of La Liga, right? There's no other league where the president of that league is so in the spotlight. Like I've said it before, this brother, bro, he's such an attention seeker, bro. This brother, he can't help it. You feel me, right? He just wants to be on the team. Like, bro, do you know how self-obsessed you have to be that everybody now knows who you are? I speak to English fans and they know who Tebas is. I'm like, bro, I don't even know who the Premier League president is. I don't know who the Serie A president is. Why is it that everybody knows La Liga's president? I'm like, well, no shit. Because the guy can't stay out of the spotlight even if we dream about it. This guy's always talking. He's always talking about everything. Now he's talking about the Premier League. This is how you know this guy enjoys seeing himself in the spotlight. The fact that now he's trying to get to Manchester City, which have nothing to do with us. It's an absolute joke. And this whole salary cap thing that they always talk about, bro. First of all, La Liga salary cap makes no sense. I'm not going to lie. I don't understand. Maybe you can explain it to me, Barca boy, right? But I don't understand how certain teams have such a low salary cap, very low, right? And then some salary caps have triple what the other teams have, right? I get it. Some clubs make more money than other clubs. But we know as Barca fans, even with everything that's been happening, we still generate a lot of revenue. Right? Every season tickets, revenues outside of the pitch, like, kit sales, everything else, right? We're one of the highest, like, when it comes to revenue, our club makes the most revenue out of many clubs. You understand what I'm saying? But for some reason, these guys always try to get at us, right? And for me, I'm just looking at it and I'm like wondering, when is this going to end? Like, maybe you can tell me, this is the thing. I don't know how far this is going to go, Hafed, to be honest, because where do you think we are financially right now? Do you think we are close to being at financial freedom now?
I think we're basically there again. We were back in the 1-1 rule in January. It's now just been stripped because Tebas is just crying like a little baby. But I think by this summer we should be fine in terms of being in the 1-1 rule, not having to worry about registration. Maybe again budget wise for like summer signings, maybe a little bit low, maybe around 100 million, maybe less. But registration wise we should be fine. Again, we're at the finish line at this point. The tough times were like in 2021, 2022, when we had to bend over backwards, sell future assets. But yeah, with us, always being Javier Tebas in court, he's going to make it much more difficult for us to, go back to one rule. Again, like Laporta says, the rules and financial rules in La Liga are the most harsh in the world of football. And that's why I don't see La Liga teams spending money. If you look at the spending and transfer windows over the past few years with other top 5 leagues, La Liga is always last. I think La Liga last summer spent like 300 million euros. I think this again, half of that came from Deni Olmo for 50 million. Even this summer where Jude Bellingham joined Barcelona, not Barcelona, joined Real Madrid. I think that's La Liga only spent like 220, and 100 million of that was from Jude Bellingham. Barcelona that summer didn't sign anyone for money. Probably Romeo for 3 million. That was it.
Yeah.
So the rules just doesn't allow the Spanish teams to compete. That's what you rely a lot on.
The league. That's the thing, Hafed, isn't it? Because if you think about it, look at like even 10 years ago, forget about Barca and Real Madrid, but even look at clubs like Atletico, the squads that they had, the players that they had in their team. They could go out and buy good players. Even like clubs like Sevilla were actually having quite like this is why the financial constraints in La Liga doesn't just affect us. And this is what I keep emphasizing, and I keep having to say this. Look at how other teams in the league look. Look at teams like Sevilla. Look at how bad they're looking, right? Look at teams like Atleti. I mean, Atleti are fine compared to some of these other teams I mentioned. But even still, right? All of these clubs I'm mentioning to you right now, right? If Sevilla are multiple-time Europa League winners. Now they can't even get in the top 6. Look how bad they are. Look at Real Sociedad, who looked like they were going to become something, right? Look at how they've fallen off, right? And they keep having to sell their players. They got rid of Isaac. Supermendi looks like he's going to leave very, very soon, right? They're losing all our best players, right? And you even look at even clubs like Deportivo. I literally did a documentary about Deportivo on my channel a few weeks ago, right? Deportivo is a club that won a league title in the early 2000s. This is a club that was in a regular Champions League team. They were Atletico Madrid before Atletico Madrid now. Valencia were once heavyweights in Spanish football in 2000. When I got into football, Valencia were actually a good team. That's why I always tell people, I'm like, bro, for me it's different. Because I remember watching Valencia win La Liga in the first year I was watching football. First year I was watching football, La Liga. They won La Liga and the Europa League. Back then they called it UEFA Cup, right? Mm-hmm. But that is the club. But that's how competitive La Liga was back then. And now you look at La Liga now, bro. If your name is not Barça Real Madrid, nobody cares. Like back then, Sevilla looked like Atleti. Back in the 2010s, they were putting pressure. Even Sevilla, credit to them, right? Maybe not in the Champions League, but in Europa League, no matter how tough it was, they would always win it, right? Now it's just Barça and Madrid. Atletico have kind of fallen off a cliff a little bit. Valencia nowhere to be found. Sevilla are done. Everybody's gone. Now it's just only the 3 of us, and it's all because of these guys. Because clubs are not spending money. But even despite everything, bro, we having to put economic levers just to stay competitive, bro. Think about this for 1 second. It's an absolute joke, man. It is an absolute joke. But listen, Hafed, I'm gonna ask you this, right? Because I've been seeing a lot of people, and you saw the question earlier, right? But I've been seeing a lot of questions, right? Been on Yamal. Yamal has been on the spotlight recently. I know, you do shows with Mo, right, on PSG INT. We know what listen, man, I already know how he feels about Yamal.
I gotta start cooking him more, man. This guy's freaking idiot, man.
Did you see what this fraud just said yesterday on his podcast? I rated him yesterday, and I just walked into his stream, and he was sitting there saying Desiree Doué was better than Yamal.
Oh my god!
I said, bro, what? No, seriously, bro, what is wrong with you? Like seriously, what is wrong, bro? Ever since you've had this fade, bro, your footballing opinions have been going too whack these days, man. What's going on with you? He's like, nah, I'm just been stating the honest truth. I'm like, nah, you know what, right? Sometimes I can't even get angry. I just laugh. You understand what I'm saying, right? I'm just like, brother, what is wrong with you? Like, your hatred for Yamal is too deep, bro. Like, I don't know. Did this guy is this like a North African thing? Because we know Yamal is Moroccan, he's Algerian.
Oh no, man. 17-year-old rattling someone this badly is kind of crazy.
Bro, it's so deep. It's so deep, bro.
Yeah.
But you know what it is with Yamal, right? As much as I love the guy, and I don't even mind. I've said it before, man. I don't have a problem with footballers, whatever they do outside of football. That's their business. I'm not the moral police. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not gonna be like, oh yeah, you should be doing this, you should be more like this. I don't care. Right? Do whatever you want outside the pitch. As long as on the pitch you're doing the job, bro. That's what I want. That's what I love you for being a player, right? But you've seen recently, right? People have been criticizing because they feel like he's starting to adapt to. He's starting to kind of feed into the his bad boy persona right now. I don't necessarily agree with this 100%, right? But you see people sometimes they talk about the fact that when he's on the pitch, he pulls down his shorts and all of these stuff when he's on the pitch. The Mo Van der Vaart was talking about it. Now, here's the thing with me, right? When you're doing that outside the pitch, do whatever you want. At the end of the day, Yamal is a kid. Yamal is the same age as it's the same age as my little baby sister. You understand what I'm saying, right? So I get it. You're that age now, man. Like you're a teenager. You're gonna be, you're gonna enjoy life, bro. Like when I was a teenager, I did the same. You feel me, right? We all go through that, right? But on the pitch, I'm just like, bro, you gotta be a little bit more professional when you're on the pitch, bro. You feel me, right? At the end of the day, you pulling down your shorts on the pitch. That's where I'm like, nah, man. Like off the pitch, do whatever you want. On the pitch, be more respectful. You feel me, right? Because we're professional footballers. You understand what I'm saying, right? And sometimes a professional footballers, you got to be professional because this is a job. You get paid for this. You understand what I'm saying? Yes, you're doing what you love. You're getting paid for doing what you love, but it's a professional football. You understand what I'm saying, right? And we all know Yamal, and this is what I've always said. If you are a top footballer or you have the potential to be a top footballer as Yamal is, everything that you do will always be on the spotlight. You understand what I'm saying? That's why I always say, like, kid, just be humble. Be humble. Because if you're not humble, bro, these people will eat you alive. Especially the fact that you're a black footballer, bro. They will eat you for breakfast if you start acting up, even a little bit. Even if it will be unfair. It will be unfair criticism. But we all know, bro, this is normal. But what do you think, man?
I mean, if he can pull his pants down all he wants, as long as he performs well, gives me a couple of GA, carries us to Champions League trophy, I couldn't care less. Off the pitch, again, like I agree with you, you can do whatever you want. You can, Ryan Giggs slept with his brother's wife. I mean, as long as he performs on the pitch, takes off his shirt against Arsenal and scored a winning goal in the FA Cup, no one really cares. Look at this stuff with Dani Alves, got accused of rape, was found not guilty. Now the Barcelona don't count him as a legend on the website. They didn't, include him in the anniversary video, and that's massively disrespectful for the great right back of this club as well. What did that mean? Should he be more humble? I mean, he's a kid, right? I was low riding. I was lowering my pants down when I was his age too. I mean, yes, I'm not playing for Barcelona, but at the end of the day, he's gonna do what he's gonna want to do because he's a crazy teenager. Maybe on the pitch, I don't think he does it on the pitch. I think he did it on the pitch just to show Van der Vaart. Like,
I think he did it one time.
Yeah, that was like that was for the banter, so we'll allow it. If he's low riding all the time when he's playing, that is a bit weird. But I don't think he does. I think when he just in his regular clothes, but. I think if you get that deep into what players do, you're just the game's gone. It's like me analyzing Ter Stegen. Oh, he went to get his hairline fixed. I don't care. Same with Jordi Alba did the same thing. Messi, when he got his tattoos in 2014, everyone went crazy. I don't care. Drop me 60 GA, win me the treble, and then we're good. He does that,
bro. That's the thing with me too. Like you just said it before, man. You see,
but like you said, too, if you don't perform on the pitch, this is ammo for the haters essentially. So it's up to you, really. Like even when he does like the post on his Instagram, like on a mission, where he changes his profile. When at some point he will change it, and we're gonna get cooked, and that's gonna backfire on him. So the question will be, do I keep doing it? Do I stop it? Do I let the hate get to me? And before he did it last season against PSG. And we lost, but ever since then, Spain and everything for Barcelona this season, he's done it, and we've cooked. So everyone now forget the one from PSG last season. But there will be some point where he does like on a mission or have a vision or here we go again and we're gonna lose.
Yeah, that's
So
the thing, because people always kind of look at like his background. Obviously, we know his dad, Moroccan immigrant, came to Spain and all of those stuff. And people kind of listen, for me, right? All of those things don't matter to me. Like I've said it before, I don't care. Like this is the thing, bro. I am not the morality police. I don't know what anyone else has been through. Like me and you, we're different people outside of YouTube, right? You got your own life, I have mine. You feel me, right?
yeah.
We see the world very differently. I've said this before. I don't like it when people feel like they have to tell other people how to live their lives or how they should act. You understand what I'm saying? If you haven't gone through what they've gone through, you can't then expect them to have the same kind of morality in the world that you do. You understand what I'm saying, right? And I remember I was doing a reaction to Mo's video of Yamal, and that was the one thing I was going at him for. I was like, all the other stuff that you're talking about doesn't make any sense because you're just talking about stuff that he does off the pitch. When, let's be real, some of your favorite footballers, you don't even know what they do off the pitch. Right? You feel me, right? You don't know. You do not know. You understand what I'm saying, right? So I'm just saying, man, we have to be careful when we start talking about footballers off the pitch. You understand what I'm saying? Because don't get it twisted. I've said it before. I don't like Thibaut Courtois. Fucking hate the guy. You understand what I'm saying, right? Because on the pitch, he's an absolute prick. But off the pitch, he's even worse prick off the pitch as well. You understand what I'm saying, right? So there's nothing to like about that. That's why I can't stand him. Because even on the pitch, he sometimes acts like a dickhead in the pitch as well. You understand what I'm saying, right? So it's easy for me to just increase my ammunition for him, right? With Vinny, I've said it before, right? I believe that some of Vinny's criticism is going overboard, yes. But I still don't like the guy because I think that he's also a guy who sometimes does too much on the pitch. On the pitch, I've said it before, on the pitch. I don't care what you do off the pitch. On the pitch, bro, you are a player with a strong anger management, right? You're always whining and complaining, right? Always acting like the victim all the time when you yourself are an instigator yourself. That's where I'm like, bro, it's easy for me to hate you. So I hate you for what you do on the pitch.
But what Vinny does is different to what Lamine does. Vinny, he yells at referees, swears
there
at
you
them,
go.
takes out players, yells at players, spits in their faces, and all this stuff. Well, Lamine's just a bit maybe cocky with how he performs, and
Bro,
changes his profile picture once in a while. I mean, it's not that serious.
Hafed, this guy is 17 years old, and is playing like a professional 27-year-old. I want you all to understand. I've said it before, man. People need to stop this, bro. What is wrong with youngsters having confidence? We all love Yamal because he's playing over his age. Why do you think he's playing as well as he is right now? Could it be that maybe because he's so confident in his abilities, he's not afraid to play against anyone? Like we sit here every time we talk about 17-year-olds. Oh, you're not ready. They're not ready for the spotlight. This kid is so confident in his abilities. He gets on the pitch and absolutely cooks every single time. Where does that comes from? That's why I said for me, I don't have a problem with him outside the pitch because the way he's off the pitch is the reason why he's so good. Because mentally, he's a confident kid. He's always been confident in himself. Yeah. That's why he's on the pitch. He's always confident when he plays. That's why he can take shots from outside the box. Curlers, absolutely cooking, not making. He makes mistakes sometimes, but that's normal. I don't have a problem with him making mistakes. I'm like, bro, you should make mistakes at your age. You're making less mistakes than your age. You're still sick. You know what I mean? Even yesterday, bro, he was literally taking the ball, bro. Literally, there was a chance in the first half where he absolutely cooked Anton. Did you see that Ronaldinho flick he did? Right?
Look at the touch he had for the Lewandowski second goal when he got that pass from Pedri. He controls it on the turn before he puts in the cross.
Do you see my point?
Yeah.
That is a player. That's a confident player. What a confident player does. I remember yesterday I was doing True Ballers FC with some of my friends, right? We were literally talking about this. They were cooking Will, Football Carnage in the chat, right? One of them was just saying, yo, right, this guy, this Vinicius guy, after he lost the Ballon d'Or, was sitting there saying, oh, I'm going to play 10 times better. And then the next game he tries to do a Ronaldinho flick and he missed it.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, that is my point, bro.
That might be my favorite tweet of all time.
No, that was so
come
funny.
Back 10 times stronger and then doesn't win a single
10 times less, bro. It's so beautiful to watch. But listen, I'm happy to hate, man, because at the end of the day, I can't stand the guy. But I mean, listen, Hafed, obviously, this is the final thing I want to talk about, right? Bro, ever since the international break, and this is a concern that I have, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think we have like, what's it, how many games do we have for the next 21 days? Is it like 7 games or 9 games in like 20? Like basically, we have since the international break, we played Osasuna, obviously 2 days after a day, I think after the international break was officially over. We
Yeah.
played against Osasuna. Then we played against Girona in the derby on Sunday. Then we played in the Copa del Rey semi-finals against Atletico. And then we played Betis in the weekend on Saturday. And then we played yesterday against Dortmund. And now, 2 days, we play against Leganes. And then literally 2-3 days after that, we then have to go to the Signal Iduna Park and play. And then we are having a game in the weekend. Then I think and then we have a midweek game. What's the Copa del Rey final? And then we have to play.
Yeah, so we still have another weekend of La Liga before the Copa del Rey final.
Dude.
So I think we
are literally playing.
We have Dortmund, and then we have Celta Vigo, then we have Mallorca midweek in the La Liga, then we have the Copa del Rey final.
Copa del Rey final. And then we are, and then, bro, and then we have, oh my God.
Yeah.
Bro, 3 days, we're literally playing every 3 days. And yesterday I was in the football terrace talking about it. People were like, oh, but Omar, this is just a normal thing in the Premier League. Bro, I'm not in the Premier League, I'm in La Liga, okay? Don't compare the two. Right? But I'm not gonna lie, man. This is why my worry comes from the fact that we're overplaying guys like Yamal and Pedri, Hafed. It's the fact that we have too many games coming up, right? We can't keep playing these players 90 minutes every game. I would love for these players to play 90 minutes. But I believe that in certain games, we're comfortably winning. We have to make early substitutions just so that we can be assured that these guys will be back for the next games. Because every game now is integral. That's the thing, right? Because we're in all competitions right now, and all competitions are still competitive. It's not like we're running away with the league. You understand what I'm saying, right? We're in the Copa del Rey finals, still close in the Champions League. We have to basically play our best team every week. You understand what I'm saying, right? Do you think that Hansi Flick needs to start trusting his squad more?
Look, I think nowadays it's kind of hard for us fans to judge because we don't have the numbers, the statistics, the data that the club has. Flick comes down every press conference saying that Lamine and Pedri are 1,000,000,000% fit. They can play every game, so they can play every game. If they're fit, it's like when you play on FIFA, right? If all your best players have the green bar on full, you're gonna play them every single time. Once they have the ones that are on yellow, that's when you rest them. If they're just on green all the time, it's kind of hard for us to judge. And the issue is that if these players do get injured, Flick will take a lot of the blame. At the end of the day, he's backing his medical staff, their fitness, their physiotherapists. They say that, look, these players are fit, they can play. So I think it's very hard for us to judge now with the amount of technology that's in football. It's not like back in the day where you know that when players are tired. You can see in our game against Betis, we look very tired. I think even in our game against Dortmund.
That is why I made a video about players being overplayed. Because I just said, bro, I was seeing Yamal's not being able to dribble past his man. He couldn't make runs. Like those runs that he was good at. He was too tired. You could see he was drained. Like you got him on the floor. He was like taking his time getting up. And even guys like Pedri, I'm not going to lie, Pedri and Yamal in that game against Betis, that was probably one of the worst games in the season. And I don't even blame them. I think it's more to do that they're just tired. Like you can see Pedri's passes were not getting to the destinations, right? And all these affects.
And we have a decent squad depth. Eric Garcia, Araujo, Gavi, of course, Fermin Lopez when Denny almost playing, Ferran Torres. We have decent players on the bench that can definitely play at the level of Leganes. I'm very interested to see what he does now against Leganes and Dortmund. I think there, of course, it will be rotation. I think both lineups will be different, but it's really about who he rests and stuff. I would love to see Lamine and Pedri get rest, maybe even Kubarsi and Inigo. He's starting to sub off Kubarsi and Inigo a lot more now, which I like. But again, he knows what's best.
He's rotating, yeah. And so, Christensen, by the way, has returned. So I'm glad to see that we have Inigo, Kubashi.
We'll see if he touches grass this season. I don't know about him. I think Ansu maybe got a little bit lucky. We'll see. I'd love for Ansu to play against Leganes. Maybe even start the game to rest either of the wingers because he is more natural on the wing than Ferran Torres is. I think Ferran Torres is really molding into a striker.
A striker.
So we'll see. We'll see. Again, Flick's got us this far, so I think we should just trust him, and hopefully his judgment will end up being in our favor.
All right, man. I mean, we'll see what happens. But listen, finally, obviously, we have a game this Saturday against Leganes. The games don't stop, man. The games do not stop.
We're probably going to lose that game, for being honest.
Bro, please, God, don't
see that there's a record. Remember, in December, we played Betis, Dortmund, and Leganes back-to-back. We drew against Betis. We beat Dortmund. Then we lost to the Ganes. So far, we've done the same thing. We drew against Betis. We just beat Dortmund.
Don't bring no.
Uh,
Yo.
Hey man, Leganes, they're in they're of course in the relegation fight. They're in the relegation zone, but they've gotten good results against the big teams. They beat, of course,
Yeah, they
Atleti.
played well against Madrid. That's against Madrid.
Yeah, they almost beat Madrid. They beat Atleti. They've beaten us. So
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's gonna be tough, but I'm not gonna lie, I still believe in this team. I think even if we rotate, I can see if maybe like getting like another 1-0 over there, and I'll take it. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter.
honestly,
You understand what I'm saying?
yeah, honestly, for me, as long as we don't lose, I'll be fine. I know if we win and Madrid win, if
And I
we
think
let's say
Madrid will also rotate because I think they will put all their eggs in the Champions League.
so that's what I'm hoping for. That Madrid, of course,
If
we
they lose, then maybe I'll take the defeat.
yeah, if we play first, so we're gonna be putting the
Oh
pressure.
yeah.
So it'd be nice for us to win to push the pressure on them, saying, "Hey, look, you can't rotate," and stuff like that. But I think that if we don't win and Madrid get knocked out of the Champions League, I'll still take it.
Oh yeah. I mean, listen, man, we'll see what for sure, man, for sure. But listen, man, Hafed, let the people know what's coming up on your channel. What you got coming up?
Just games, man. We got, like you said, we can play every single day. So previews, reviews, watch along, match analysis, talk about some transfer news as well. We're starting to do a lot more reaction videos now because they're kind of fun to do if there's like a little day off gap if we luckily get it.
I've been doing that recently because obviously my day. Yeah, sometimes I try doing it when I'm like watching other reactors, like what they're saying and stuff that's happening on football. Even like I'm not gonna. I do a lot of like your reactions to your match reactions to games as well. Sometimes I do it. Like, yeah. If you've actually seen my channel, you actually see like when I do my match reactions the next day, I would do like your match to see what you said and see if I agree or disagree with a lot of things that you said. I'm not gonna lie, bro. I thought my imaginations were harsh. You hella harsh with your rating, even when we're winning.
Hey man,
how do you give guys 10 out of 10s, man? Like
10 out of 10 is a rare. We can't be giving away 10 out of 10s like it's. I think someone should do like a research. I think on my channel I've given like maybe 10 out of 10s in the past like 5 years I've done the channel. I think Messi has like 4 of those. But hey man, you gotta earn it. You gotta earn it.
Yeah, hey, listen, I hear that, bro. I'll probably I have to start doing that too, because I think I'm too lenient. When I watch, I was like, maybe I'm being too lenient on these guys, because sometimes I don't think these guys.
I think my ratings are fantastically accurate.
No, that's the thing. So sometimes people, sometimes the comments are always gonna have a problem with you think you harsh all this. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I give people 10 out of 10. I'm like, I don't even think you had a 10 out of 10. You tell me, right?
Yeah, I keep it 100, man. Even the player I love him, like for example, Kunde, he's one of my favorite players. I've been giving him like 5 out of 10 for the past 3 weeks since he's been ass. But yeah, man, I always keep it 100, no bias. And I follow the same kind of rating philosophy for my whole time since I started doing YouTube. 6 being average, depending on how the game goes, the impact they have, GA as well, impact. Like Chesney, for example, he get like 7 out of 10 for me every single video now because all he does is just keep a clean sheet and make 1 or 2 saves, which is again the standard for what he should be doing. So
yep. And that's a credit to him, but also to the defense, because when he's been called upon, he's always done his job. But you know what? Very quickly, obviously, you've heard the news that apparently Ter Stegen is on his way back.
Bro, keep this Ter statue away from this team, man. I'm not. I think Ter Stegen will only get minutes if we win the league with maybe 1 or 2 games left. He might play those games, but surely Flick is not dumb enough to bring Ter Stegen back. Since Ter Stegen's come back and train with the team. Since he's come back, Ter Stegen, the team is starting to leak even more now, which is getting a bit frustrating. Usually, I like to see the team not being leaked, so that when the line comes out, it's a surprise. But recently, the lines have been kind of being leaked in training, and everyone knows the lineup the day before the game, which kind of takes away from the excitement. So, yeah, man, just keep it far away from this.
Yeah, listen, I'm not gonna lie. Just
put the fries in the bag.
Respectfully to Ter Stegen, you can't walk back into this team. I'm sorry. This season, no.
If Penny was in goal, maybe. But with Chesney, my boy.
No, exactly. But Chesney is, bro. It would be such a disgrace to take him out. He's still unbeaten. Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Listen. At the end of the day, by the way, do you think we should rotate for the game against Dortmund, or are you just thinking that we should
I don't know. I think it comes down to Flick. I think both games you should rotate. Maybe make 2 or 3 changes in each. I wouldn't put like the best team out in both games. I would say that. Okay. I'd probably save those for the 2 home games against Mallorca and Celta Vigo. I would definitely feel maybe a weaker team against Dortmund than I would against Leganes, but not so weak. Like, for example, I wouldn't mind starting Eric Garcia for De Jong against Dortmund because you want to have more of a bit of a defensive game. Again, the issue is if you play players kind of two dead rubber games,
Yeah, they're gonna.
it's so frustrating,
He's
right?
gonna get this time.
So
Yeah.
I think we have the squad. Again, a 4-0 lead against Dortmund is very, very good. Again, it's going to be a hard game. I wouldn't go fully weak, full week.
Just a
Maybe,
semi-slight rotation, just a little bit.
yeah, like 2-3 changes at the absolute most.
Yeah.
Maybe one in midfield, one in defense, one in attack. And then you can make more rotations as the game goes on. But
I want to see. I'm not gonna lie. I want to see. I want to see Ansu get more opportunities. Like I get it. He's not part of his plans, but
he should now. Maybe that he came off the bench now. We'll see a bit more of Ansu.
hopefully, listen. I would love for Ansu to come out in the next few games and do something, because if he shows something, maybe he might be. Maybe if he shows that he's up to it, right? Maybe his fitness is much better and he's playing well. He could give Hansi Flick some options, because now he can say, cool, I'm more comfortable now resting guys like Rafinha off games now because I know that Ansu is playing well. You understand what I'm saying, right? And I think that's what he needs to do. But yeah, man, listen, guys, big up to every single one of you guys who has been here. Make sure you guys go subscribe to Barcelona Boy 103, guys. Link is in the description, guys. Make sure you guys go subscribe to him. Big up to everyone, guys. This has been the Omar Hafed show, guys. Listen, man, always enjoy doing this, guys. This is actually, what's crazy, Hafed? Everyone always talks about this show. They're like, yo, because I do a lot of shows here, but they're always like, yo, we like the Barca show that you do with the other guy, because you don't do a lot of Barca shows with our partners. I'm like, I would love to do more of these, but obviously both of us have like crazy schedules. Like you got like so many stuff you gotta do. You're trying to ask so many stuff I gotta do. But basically, I've been actually working on other stuff. I'll actually talk to you about it when we close out. But listen, man, this has been another episode of the Omar Hafez Show, guys. We'll be back potentially next month, guys. Yeah, next month we'll definitely, hopefully by next month we will already have the second cup in the bag. Hafed, hopefully. You know what I'm saying, right? We could be talking about potentially being in a Champions League final by the time we do the next show, right? We'll see, man, for sure, man. But make sure you guys go subscribe to him, guys. We're gonna be closing now. This stream will be redirecting you guys to Zero Talk, guys. Zero is doing a European heavyweight show. I'm about to go and join them right now, guys. Make sure you guys go in there. Put Omar BYT Ray in the comment section below. Make sure you guys go subscribe to Barcelona Boy. Make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel. And like I always say whenever I end these streams, guys, Visca el Barça, Visca el Catalunya, and peace, you guys. Take care.